A History of Violence by Oscar Martinez is a collection of chronicles about one of the deadliest regions in the world that too often goes ignored. The 14 chapters discuss gang violence, corruption, and human trafficking in Central America. From 2011 to 2015, Martinez traveled across El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala and interviewed narcos, police officers, gang members, government authorities, and common citizens to authentically report the raw reality of daily life in Central America. These investigative pieces create a new level of understanding about the reasons migrants travel to the U.S. It becomes clear that the Central Americans flee their homes since the violence in their countries make it the only way to survive. The stories are divided into 3 sections: emptiness, about the indifference of government authorities; madness, about the chaos that ensues from the emptiness; and fleeing, about those who must escape their countries and face the dangers of doing so. Since a significant portion of the book focuses on gang violence, Martinez points out that despite their fame as Latin American gangs, these violent groups like the Mara Salvatrucha and Barrio 18 actually have origins in the U.S. Central American migrants felt isolated, so they based themselves on gangs already in LA to defend each other. When they became too problematic, Congress deported about 4,000 gang members back to their countries, where, according to Martinez in September 2015, that number rose to 60,000 gangsters just in El Salvador, leading to circular migration. Corruption within authorities becomes apparent too. For example, Martinez tells a story of a well where gang members would dump their victims, but the government avoided recuperating and identifying the bodies. To reveal information about the marginalization of Central American women, Martinez wrote a chapter about men who sell women, which focused on the trafficking of women and girls for sexual exploitation. And though it was such a problematic issue in Central America, Martinez suggests it is not as widely addressed as other crimes. With little to no punishment, gangs and human traffickers continue to be ruthless terrorizers of women.
His father was killed by gangs. His brother was killed at the age of 16. He himself was shot 3 times, and yet he says it's the violence against women that's out of control. There's even a term for it: femicide. And with one woman murdered every 16 hours in a nation smaller than Ohio, Honduras has one of the highest femicide rates in the world.
Based on a UNHCR and UNICEF study, thousands of families from Central America are fleeing their country in search of a better, safer life. This is a result of gang recruitment, death threats, and extortion, which leads an unsustainable lifestyle for the citizens living in these regions. Approximately 20% of over 3,100 interviewees in family units stated violence as their sole reasoning for leaving their communities to embark on a journey to the U.S. Young men and women in northern Central America are commonly victims of gang violence since their opportunities for financial stability are limited, which leaves them vulnerable where they're forced to engage in illegal activities. Adults in these communities are even more at risk since their families are targeted by gang members if they don't comply with their requests. Due to corrupt government officials, these citizens are unable to have protection against these threats. The cities of San Salvador, the capital, and Soyapango, to the capital's east, have some of the highest rates of violence in El Salvador. The majority of the population, who resides in urban and marginal urban areas dominated by gangs known as maras, live in constant fear of violence. This situation has caused many to leave their homes in search of a safer life elsewhere. Now, after COVID-19 and 2 devastating hurricanes have hit Central America, the increase in poverty and violence is likely to drive more of these families from their homes in the coming weeks and months.
It's like one boy told us, "Why am I leaving? Because in my neighborhood, you're more likely to get shot than to find a job." When you ask people why they are leaving or why once deported they try to go back, the story typically starts with, "Well, I'm leaving for economical reasons." But when you start to inquire further, they say, "I had my bodega, but I lost it because of extortion, violence, and because I don't have anyone to report to who can protect me. I can't go to the police because the police won't protect me. And what's more, I'm afraid of the police. Therefore, I have no other choice but to leave."